Yes, there are 4. Yes and no. Yes. Everything is good. Yes. Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, we are live. Let's see if we've entered the matrix. Let's see if this is actually working. I'm not sure if any of this is going to work. We tried this last time and with great not success. We tried this and it didn't work, so we're giving it another try. We're here, we're live. Welcome to the Space Down Under Live. Hopefully everyone can see us. Hopefully everyone can hear us. Oh, I can't believe that YouTube is nothing more than cross your fingers and hope like hell. So I've got here. So
that's all you can do, man. It's all you can do.
I know it's all you can do, but it's one of those things. So look, I've got multiple screens here. I'm doing 2 different things. I'm doing 3 different things, 4 different things at once. I'm trying to talk to you. I'm trying to read a script. I'm trying to do everything at once. So hopefully everyone can hear us, everyone can see us, and everyone can hear the wonderful music. So here on screen, I've got the wonderful Mark Stephen. Good evening, Mark. How's it going, mate?
Good, mate. How are you, Josh? Great to be here. Thanks for having me on. It's great to be on here for the second live stream of the Space Down Under.
We had a great show last time, didn't we? I mean, it was absolutely fun.
If there are awards for the greatest show ever not aired, we won last week, so it's hands down. So
exactly. Look,
you were an awesome host.
Oh, thanks.
And
as a co-host, for the first time, you and I working together live on screen, we seem to have that chemistry. The air was electric, the air was on fire. Unique moments where we were amazing, and everybody missed it.
It was like Batman and Robin, man. It was just. It was perfect.
It was just perfect. It was perfect in its simplicity. It was perfect in every single way. Anyway, I'm going to stop waxing lyrical and telling you how wonderful you did. So welcome, guys. I believe the viewership is going up, so I can see that happening on the live screen over here. I've got Mark over on the other screen down here. We've got comments coming.
Say hi in the comments.
Say hi to everyone.
We want to hear from you all.
Yeah, we want to hear from you all. We want to hear from exactly you. If you've got questions and answers, we're here to answer them. We're here to have a discussion about them, all that sort of stuff. So just to let you know, this is Mark. You guys might know Mark from Twitter. He and I have been interacting for quite some time now. He's also one of my supporters as well, and I've been helping him out with his live streams. So Mark has his own YouTube channel. And there it is. He does 3 things about space. And Mark, would you like to have a few words about what you do on your channel?
Yes, well, 3 things about space is where I take you through 3 things about space. So it could be absolutely anything. And I can give you an exclusive tonight, Josh. I'm working on a feature piece that will hopefully be released sometime in the next month or so. It's just the early stages of it. So 3 things about space is just a chance for me to go live, interact with people, and just chat about 3 things. And I'm slowly introducing more things to my channel. So Yeah, so some feature pieces, there'll be some interviews and all that sort of stuff.
Excellent. And just on the exclusives and all that sort of stuff, I do have a bit of an exclusive myself. We're having a bit of a Mars month. So yes, towards the end of the month, around about the 27th of March, I'm looking to have a bit of an interview with someone who is deeply involved with Mars and from an Australian perspective. So yeah, look forward to that on the 27th. More details will be revealed soon. I'll be able to share some more information as we get closer to that particular date. So look, I'm going to tear this one right open, and I'm going to say about what happened in the 2020 was the year that everything happened. COVID-19 happened. We were all locked down here in Australia, pretty much the same as the rest of the world. In that instance, everything happened, and Australia apparently got almost closer to orbit. So we'll move right along and we'll get straight into it. Australia. We'll start with Black Sky Aerospace. Black Sky Aerospace was one that that did a few big things towards the Australian space industry last year, and one of them is, you can see the picture there, the guy in the blue shirt, not the one in the other one, the guy with the blue shirt. That's Blake Nikolic. He's the director of Black Sky Aerospace. BSA as it's called. They offer some things like suborbital launches, propulsion, orbital launches, telemetry and avionics, development and testing, and consultation and custom service. Blake himself has actually been nominated for multiple categories in space in the Space Connect Australian of the Year Awards in 2020, including Executive of the Year and Rising Star of the Year. Now, I said this last time we did that fabulous off-air, live-air, that this will almost look like the Blake Show, and it probably will. While Blake is hard to see in this, I'd like to take a quick note what he looks like, because he will show up a few times in this video. All right, so Black Sky Aerospace also manufactures both solid and liquid fuels for rockets out of the factory based in Logan here in Queensland. So Blake and BSA have been involved in a couple of other small companies, one called Valiant Space, another one Australian Rocketry, and the last one is Raptor Aerospace. We'll get into Valiant Space first. Valiant Space it's actually been started by students from the University of Queensland. It's been designed and built with their own non-toxic, high-performance, low-cost liquid fuel rocket engine, and it tested it out in a place called Funny Farm in Goondiwindi in Queensland. Now, Goondiwindi in Queensland, you'll need to look that one up on the map, because I forgot to include a map graphic and all of this. Funny Farm is actually a place where people can go and test rockets, so we'll see exactly what happened with Valiant Space.
As the sun went down over Goondiwindi.
4, 3, 2, 1...
A dream which could put Australia on the moon took off. The first Australian-designed, Australian-made commercial liquid rocket engine. It burns at 3,000 degrees Celsius and creates enough thrust to power a light aircraft.
You could feel it in your chest, so it was remarkable.
They'll now build a vehicle which could hop across the moon or even to Mars. Desire is growing for lunar mining, exploration, research.
Only big governments and companies over in the US have been able to do things like this before.
Until a bunch of Brisbane University of Queensland engineering students aged in their 20s dared to dream. They tested their engine at Funny Farm near Goondiwindi. It has wide open fields, no flight paths, perfect for rocketry and a region needing a lift.
The farmers are really struggling out there, so it's creating new industry for a remote area.
And soldering Australia's place in a new commercial space race. Erin Edwards, 7 News.
So that was Valiant Aerospace. Valiant Aerospace is been doing a bit of its own work, so that's nothing more than a bunch of university students. Mark, did you get to see that one at all in the news over the course of 2020 at all?
Yes, I did, and how exciting to see the first steps towards, the Mars, Moon, and beyond being taken place. Great news. For students to be involved in this, I think is also great for the experience that they're also gaining out of this, and really exciting times.
Yeah, it is. We're certainly making giant steps at the moment towards the moon and Mars, and it's nice to see that it's all being powered by our own in-house rocketry.
And it's always exciting too. Just see those first small steps being taken. That first, you can talk about it, design it all you want, but then you start to see, one step take place, and then the other next step take place, then the next step take place. So, this is really exciting for them all, and can't wait to see what the next year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years hold for them.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I say as well. It's small baby steps, but it's the essential ones. Simply because we can't actually take any information from any other country, including the United States, because of the ITAR restrictions. So we have to develop everything in house. We have to do it ourselves, and this was actually one of those key moments that we actually did something towards our own sovereign launch capability. And as everyone saw, Blake Nikolic was actually in that. He was actually featured quite heavily in that. So yes, I suspect that his company Black Sky Aerospace was the one who made the rocket propellant. All right, moving right along, we're going to clicked the wrong thing. Where are we? Oh, right. So Black Sky Aerospace. So the next one is Raptor Aerospace. Apologise about that. All right. So Raptor Aerospace is a leading UK company who recently came to Australia to test and qualify their own launch systems and vehicles with a Kestrel series rocket. They're able to carry about 2 kilograms up to 50 kilometres and working on a higher performance vehicle. Based in Scotto Enterprise Park in Norfolk, they brought their rocket to the Funny Farm in Goondiwindi in Queensland, and to take advantage of our vast open spaces compared with the dense population and busy European airspace. So yeah, they came all the way out here just to test their rocket.
The start of a race beyond Earth. From a paddock at Funny Farm Space near Goondiwindi, a rocket spiralled into the sky at 1,600 kilometres an hour. In 30 seconds, it reached the highest point of the flight, Australia's first international sounding rocket launch. A success.
From start to finish, it was flawless.
Capable of going beyond 15,000 metres, it returned to Earth a few minutes later.
There is a GPS payload on it, so we can track it.
The 3-metre-long rocket was built in the UK, launched here, part of a space campaign between the two nations.
We were able to observe the descent of the vehicle as well. Just meant that the recovery time is shortened.
The industry is worth $400 trillion in America. Australia is the perfect launch pad. Our landmass stability, the right ingredients for space technology.
We're probably the only suitable country in the Southern Hemisphere.
Eventually, rockets leaving here could send satellites up to monitor our beaches, fires, the weather.
Space industry, I think, is a far broader part of our life than most people understand.
To get up there, you need to be able to launch rockets.
This is proof we can. Jessica Mummy, 7 News.
So that was Raptor Aerospace, powered by Black Sky Aerospace. What they're doing is they've been quoted as selling spades to gold diggers. And this article you can see here, that one. I'm still not used to pointing. Mark's going to point up for us. All right, so yeah, the article is here because this was the first mention of the space bridge. So the space bridge was mentioned on Twitter by the Australian Space Agency 2 weeks ago now. It would have been last week, but week's delay helps everything. So yeah, they is space bridge to enhance opportunities between Australia and the UK. It was to make which was to make official by the Australian Space Agency, which was only 2 weeks ago. So the article there, it was published in February 2020, I believe it was, and yeah, that was the first mention of the space bridge, and it's now been made official by the Australian Space Agency and the UK Space Agency.
Yeah, really, really good news for us that we are seen as a hub, for other countries to develop their technology. I think it's good that, we know ourselves that we are making great strides, but, other countries are seeing the advantages there are to bring in their product down here and help, together developing the technology.
Absolutely. And the other thing is too is that Australia and the UK way back in 1967 did a magnificent work to actually build some fantastic rockets out of Gilmour in South Australia, where Mark is from. And so, yeah, they actually did some significant work. So it's good to see that this official space bridge is helping us to bridge the divide between our two countries, to actually start to share all that knowledge, to build both industries in both countries, which is fantastic, because there's one thing that the UK certainly does lack, and that's clear skies. We got that in abundance.
Yeah, and it really is, as you said, mentioning Gilmour, it is really a back to the future type thing, where, what was happening in the, 60s is happening again, so, yeah, it's taken some time, but, we're back there, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, it's a fabulous thing. If we can certainly help the UK and they can help us, well then, how awesome. God, how
exactly.
Man, that'd be amazing.
Exactly.
All right, so moving right along, we're going to go to the last one that the Blake Show is involved about. So this is not about Blake Nikolic, it's more about the things that Black Sky Aerospace and those three companies have done over the last, over 2020. So we come to Australian Rocketry. Now, Australian Rocketry actually provides sales and support for the consumer rocketry and aerospace products. In 2020, they did something fun, and what they did was, it's fun and was really unusual too, is they actually launched a $20,000 diamond ring on a suborbital trajectory for a local radio show called Hit 105 Breakfast.
This is the Out of This World proposal! Like, are we putting the ring in the rocket right now?
Absolutely, it's being locked and loaded.
You're securing a $20,000 diamond ring with a $3 wing nut from Bunnings.
It's actually about 60 cents, but yeah. Right. So for a visual representation for our listeners, the nose cone slides over the top.
Yep.
And we'll encompass the whole avionics bay and the ring together.
You don't trust us, do you?
I don't trust us, mate.
Don't drop the rocket.
$20,000 worth of Xenox
When you
diamonds.
press the buzzer, you look up at the rocket.
Ring.
Okay.
Otherwise you miss it.
Okay, yeah.
Right now. Okay. Are we ready? Standing by! We've pressed the button.
Oh, ignition, I can see it, it's fizzling.
There's fire.
Fire.
It's gone!
She's going to space, everybody!
Okay, that goes on for another few minutes, that one there. It's an 11-minute video in total, and you can go to the Hit 105 Breakfast website and actually catch the entire thing. But hey, Mark, isn't it amazing that we're actually sending a $20,000 diamond ring to space with a 60-cent Australian cent wing nut?
It's it's the finer details that matter, and the little things that matter. It's hilarious, absolutely hilarious. No pressure on anyone who needs to propose on that sort of launching something like that into space. But it's really interesting to see the different ideas people have to sort of try and gain their what's the word I'm looking for? To gain their identity, I suppose, and to put something out there that'll grab people's attention is what I'm saying. I think, $20,000 diamond ring just put in a rocket. Not too bad.
Yeah, and that's the thing is they, I think the three couples had to guess or take punts on where it would land. So
yeah.
And whoever got the closest would be the winner. I've watched the entire video in its entirety. But
yeah,
again,
yeah,
like Nikolic show, he was deeply involved in that, and Black Sky Aerospace was involved in that once again. So I think in 2021, I think Black Sky Aerospace, or at least 2022, Black Sky Aerospace will be one of the ones to watch out of all of this. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting year this year and next year. I think 2020 was more of a foundational year for everybody. So yeah, and 21. It's 22.
And it's really interesting. Oh, sorry, mate. It's really interesting. You actually bring up that point because like everything we've looked at so far, and I know we have a couple more things to look at. It almost seems like we're at the starting line. 2020 was the starting line for all these small startup companies. So it's just really exciting. How where they all get to as time goes on, so, they're all starting from exactly the same place pretty much, which is very exciting. And
yeah, oh, look, I can't wait to crack orbit, and it's going to be a wonderful thing. But
yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of which, we'll talk about the company that actually got very, very close to orbit, which was Southern Launch. So Southern Launch last year completed 2 suborbital launches for DEWC systems on the 15th and 19th, of September 2020 from Coonabar, a test range in South Australia. So, Mark, that was right around the corner from you. So not far at all.
Yeah, mate. Just up the road, mate.
Yeah. DEW
or across the road.
Across the road or across the way or whatever it was, yeah. So DEWC Systems does rapid prototyping of electronic warfare, and this was actually one for the Australian Defence Force. The first mission on the 15th was called TED-1, and one on the second mission on the 19th was called TED-2. The rocket they launched on was a staged 2-stage rocket called DART. The DART rocket actually weighs, it's only 34 kilos, so it's quite small. It only measures 3.4 meters long, and the payload was weighing less than 500 grams. But they managed to get exactly the information they were looking for just for something that small. So the reason this was exciting was it's the first and second commercial launches here in Australia.
Australia has successfully launched 2 commercial rockets to the edge of space for the first time. The rocket, carrying an Air Force radio prototype, lifted off from Cooniba in South Australia after a failed attempt on Tuesday. The launch is part of an Air Force plan to detect and track challenging targets. The spacecraft travelled up to 100 kilometres into the atmosphere before falling back to Earth. Astrophysicist Brad Tucker says it's opened a realm of possibilities for Australian space ventures.
For us here at home, instead of being reliant on overseas companies to launch our satellites, not only now can we build and design and test them, but we have a way of launching it. Increases our knowledge and our skill set, increases, and again, in this relationship, not just a business, but the local traditional owners in South Australia, as well as keeping the money kind of in Australia.
Yes, that was one of the key things I found out of all of this is that our first commercial launches was in Australia, done by Australians, for Australians and Australian companies. So that was a significant achievement in itself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And for me personally, for it to be done in South Australia, as you said to start with, is absolutely fantastic. Brad Tucker there, I believe, touched on, as you say, Australians are. Can be self-sufficient with this and, be able to launch their own stuff into orbit. And, I'm looking forward to seeing their next test. Not sure when that is, but again, as we've already spoken about with the other companies, it's only going to get better and, they're going to get higher and, they're going to reach orbit and more orbital and, they'll just keep going. And, Adelaide company, which is always good.
I knew you'd get that one in. The first company was actually a Queensland company, so just to let people know. There's a bit of a rivalry between the states here in Australia.
1-1.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a rivalry between the states here in Australia, and we have a thing called the State of Origin, which is a football competition between New South Wales and Queensland. The Queensland is called the Cane Toads, and New South Wales are called the Cockroaches. But yeah, it's an annual football thing. So rivalry between even our own states is a wonderful, friendly thing we love to do here as Aussies. All right, moving right along. So this one is Gilmour Space. So Gilmour Space, again, is another Queensland company. So that's 2-1. There you go. Sorry, I'm a child. Anyway, all right. So Gilmour Space is based on Australia's Gold Coast here in Queensland, and they have been developing rockets using advanced manufacturing techniques. So Adam Gilmour is the CEO, and he himself has actually won a number of awards for advanced manufacturing and advanced manufacturing techniques. In December 2020, they signed a deal with Northrop Grumman to collaborate on space capabilities, and in July 2020, they completed a 110-second burn of it was a 110-second duration test fire of their hybrid rocket engine. So that one goes on for 110 seconds. So if you want to go and see that one, go to Gilmour Space, Space Technologies, and you'll be able to find that entire full duration 110-second video. I mean, Mark, there is nothing better than seeing a local Australian company with a rocket engine that's hot firing with Mark diamonds out the back. Makes me...
Yeah, and I have just down the road from you too, which is really, really cool. But the one thing which really caught my attention with that is, signing an agreement with Northrop Grumman, yep. For a company that's been involved with, many of the great space explorations so far, to see it just, Gilmour Space, your interview with him, he started that, what was it, about 5 or so years ago? So. That's right. Within 5 or 6 years to sign with that caliber of company is only full credit to Adam Gilmour and his company that they are being recognised globally by people who helped put humans on the moon. So outstanding, absolutely outstanding.
It's just amazing. So if anybody, shameless plug, so if anybody wants to go along and have a look at the interview I did with Adam Gilmour, which was, I believe, last year. Oh, no, it would have been 2019. It's a little bit older now. So, yeah, I caught up with Adam in regard to that. He invited me down to the factory on the Gold Coast, it's a little bit away from the beaches, but still only 15 minutes drive, so not very far at all. And what I couldn't get over, and it's in the video and it's quite plain for everyone to see, is I couldn't believe he was interviewing me in a boardroom, and just on the other side of the wall was noises coming from a rocket factory. It was like, it's on the Gold Coast.
And you want to get on the other side of that wall.
Yeah, I did a little bit. I snuck out a couple of times, but there's some footage I wasn't allowed to publish. That's fine. But yeah, and they were cleaning up also for a ministerial visitation, all that sort of stuff, because one of the Australian federal ministers was there as well. All these noises being made in the background, all these people who were like the group of people sitting concentrating hard on computer screens were all designing new rockets. And yeah, look, 2021, there's been a few things that have come out from Gilmour's, and Mark and I will reflect on these things possibly in April, and we'll have a bit more of a closer look. I'm not sure when the date of that will be, but we'll have a closer look of exactly what's happened in the Australian space industry just in the few short months already this year.
And one other thing I just want to touch on with Gilmour Space is obviously, again, we are seeing this changing the guard where it's now private companies actually sort of driving the way. We've seen it overseas and we're seeing it here. And, he had a very successful career. I don't want to give away spoilers. I'd suggest everyone does check out that interview. But to give up a successful career and to start building rockets and to be doing so well so soon, just massive props to him. Outstanding.
Yeah, exactly. And go and have a look at
lots of courage as well to be able to do that. Lots of courage.
Go and have a look at the interview, guys. If you get a second, go back through the Space Down Under videos. You'll find.
I'll put a link in the chat.
Yeah, put a link in the chat. I don't think the chat's working properly, but there we go. But that's okay. If anybody can see the chat. The interview I had with Adam is just, I asked the other questions that the other people don't seem to be asking, which was how and why? How did you end up building rockets and why? And how did you manage to get that one past your partner? And I just remember asking that question. And
there's a business plan which I suggest everyone checks out.
It was
for any guys that want to get anything across the line with their wife or missus or partner, I suggest you check out that interview. It's a how-to.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? And honestly, to Adam, thank you very much. If you're watching this, if you're live streaming this later, or you're viewing this later, mate, thank you very much for that interview. I was just so happy that you were so candid and honest, and and I was allowed to release it out to the general public because I was so happy with that interview. So thank you very much. And just a quick plug. Can you please come and get in contact with me again? I'd like to talk to you again because people would like an update. So, all right.
I would also, if you talk to Josh on here, I would also like to talk to you. If only if that's all right, I'll be more than happy to join in the conversation.
Yeah, we'll see if we can do a live stream, mate. So, all right, moving right along. So, the last one on this list, and it's been a very big list, and thank you very much for sticking with us this far. This is the last, and it is PFi AEROSPACE. Now, look, this wasn't actually in 2020, but in 2019, they actually signed a deal with Northrop Grumman themselves, and they're worthy of a mention. So they signed an MOU, and I got to see Amber fire up. Now, Amber is a very special rocket engine, and it's a 300 kilo rocket engine, and it can be fired on school grounds. And I remember back in that interview, also on my Space Down Under channel, if you want to go and have a look, is I remember the suitcase rocket engine, which has now been significantly developed much further. So let's just have a look.
3, 2, 1.
So yes, that was the first one. Was Amber, which is the school hybrid rocket engine, and that can be taken onto school grounds and fired. So that way kids actually get to see what a real life, it's a hybrid rocket engine, but it's still get to see it on fire on school grounds. There needs to be a safety parameters of about 50 meters where they need to stand back, but Nick will take it to any school and will fire it on school grounds. When I was there and I was talking to Nick Green from PFi AEROSPACE and we were chatting, he showed me the workings of the suitcase rocket engine, which is now called Haley. And the MOU with Northrop Grumman is Northrop Grumman is looking to use that as a suitcase rocket engine that can be taken out and fired out in the open air, but also at the same time, kids can take it back inside the classroom and pull it apart and play with each of the parts. Because one of the fundamental things that Nick Green believes is that it's not the science of rockets. It's not rocket science, it's the science of rockets. God, I knew I'd get that round the wrong way, and I did it then. Well done.
You practiced 1,000 times today and got it right. This is a one time.
It's not rocket science, it's the science of rockets. So PFI is doing some really interesting things in terms of getting kids interested here in Australia, interested in building rocket engines, the engineering behind it, the science of the actual rockets, but also at the same time with their deal with Northrop Grumman is they're looking to distribute that right across the United States. So I'd love to have another catch up with Nick probably later in the year just to see how he's traveling and how everything went. So that's very interesting and very big news out of PFi AEROSPACE.
Yeah, and absolutely good news for them. But what does grab my attention is the ability for school kids to actually see a rocket up close, pull it apart, put it back together, as you say. I mean, you know, if you want to get kids interested, that's how you do it. And especially, as we've mentioned before already tonight, we feel like we're at the starting point, you know, with a lot of companies. You know, what a perfect way, you know, and they can see around them that, hey, this is happening in the Australian space industry. So what a great initiative by Nick. And yeah, I wish that happened at my school. I would go see it now.
Well, look, mate, I don't mean to make you jealous, but I'm gonna. So
thanks.
The first interview I did with Nick, which is also on the channel, go and have a look, is that the first one where you saw the amber rocket firing, that was me and my camera on a tripod, sitting at the right angle, hopefully, and it wouldn't blow over. And the bit that you missed out of the end of that video, which I cut off at the end because it's great, but however it's embarrassing, is me screaming out, going, yeah, because it literally was a thump in the chest when that thing fired up. And it was just amazing to see. And then I was fortunate enough, a couple of months later, Nick invited me back and said, but you remember that suitcase engine we were talking about? And I went, yeah, I remember that. I remember that. And he said, we're going to have a test fry. You want to come and have a look? that was amazing. And that was inside. That was on the back of a trailer, and there's footage of that as well. That's in that same video. And oh my god! And I'm just like, I wish I was a kid in high school. I wish I was taking a TAFE course or something like that. I was like, I wish I could have had, because way back then I would have been so excited and so happy to be working on
and I think we all are big kids at heart. And I think as well, you know, you have to say right now, you know, in your part of the world, as hard as it is with all this state rivalry going on, you know, right now, you know, Southeast Queensland is, you know, the capital of, you know, the Australian, you know, rocket industry, you know, development. You know, there's plenty happening there.
Yeah, there's plenty happening, but just remember, you're the guys who actually went suborbital. So, you know, it swings and roundabouts, mate, swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
All right,
but you get to go see it.
Yeah. I want to see it too. I want to see it up close and personal. So if anybody works in the Australian space industry, I'm just going to do a shameless plug. Yeah, reach out, get in touch on the contact page on joshkeegan.com. Let me know if you need to invite me along to some things. I'm more than happy to join you. I'll bring all the cameras. I'll possibly bring you some beer. Look, we'll get this thing.
More than happy to take one for the team.
Exactly. All right. So look. 2020 was a massive year in rockets for Australia, and we were able to make some really big achievements on the way to space. So yeah, there were some quite significant things we were able to do. Remember, please subscribe to my YouTube channel to see more stuff about the Space Down Under. Don't forget to check out joshkeegan.com for more about drones, aerospace, technology, and of course, coffee. There is also my shop, which is joshkeegan.com/shop, where you can actually get some very cool and interesting merchandise, including this one, which is the Aussie Naught t-shirt, that's got detail on this side for the Space Down Under and a rocket on this side. So also, while you're there and while you're searching around on YouTube for things to have a look at, please go and subscribe to my friend and co-host Mark Stephen in his YouTube channel. If not, please follow him on Twitter. Also, you can find me on Twitter, ask me questions, all that sort of stuff. I realized the live chat wasn't working, so you can ask me any questions you like on Twitter. I will respond. Just give me a little while, because, you know, I need to sleep and stuff as well. So look, more than happy to have you join me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram as well. You can find me all over the place. So thank you very much this evening, Mark, for being here with me for this. Thanks very much for watching, everybody.
Thanks so much for having me on. It's been fun.
Yeah, it has been. All right, everybody, remember, same as always, stay hyphenated.
Or watered.